Taznazi does not know you. That's good. She knows everyone in the Stitches. Those who aren't in Kazda's pocket, she can count on one paw. This one has a job for someone who'd rather pick it. An unknown face like yours is just what she needs. Kazda, the dung-eater that runs the Stitches, has a hoard of gold beneath Merville Keep. Taznazi plans to make it hers. Ours. If you're interested, we need to move soon. The Stitches gets worse by the day. Kazda may leave, and his coin with him. To take from Kazda is no crime. His predecessor, Dashing the Salzo, amassed the coin. Kazda only wallows in it, like a pig in its filth. A cruel, stupid pig. Now he lets the Stitches shuffle to ruin. This is his just punishment. We also need Taznazi's old crew, Vol, Sarin, and Nazdar. Vol just did a job for Jubani. He'll be at her junk shop. Sarin's likely at the Goiter's Gulp, and Nazdar caterwauling somewhere. We'll meet in the bowl at the bottom of the scar. Who do you want to know about? Best damn mechanist this side of Nibbin Bay. Not a common trait for a wood elf, this one knows, but it is true. Kazda's stronghold uses strange mechanisms to keep uninvited visitors out. Voles are passed through them. Maybe not the most distinguished mage in Elsweyr, but the best Taznazi is likely to get in the Stitches. She spends more time with her head in a bottle than a book. But once she's dried out, she'll be invaluable for reaching the vaults unnoticed. The old adept was something back in his day. Taznazi heard he could break a boulder with his little claw. He doesn't fight much anymore, but he still has some moves. This one has seen them personally. He flows like water and is as silent as wind. Keep it quick. There's a lot to be done before we relieve Kazda of his riches. The lowest. Kazda clawed his way to the top of the Stitches with treachery and fear. The Stitches hasn't known law, but under Dashing the Salzo, it knew relative peace, common purpose. Now it falls into anarchy. Kazda won't stop it, he creates it. The leader of the Stitches, before Kazda, he's dead and gone. All you need to know is, what was his is now Kazda's, soon to be ours. A den of outlaws in the shape of a town. There's not much to tell. What do you want to know? The facade of a legitimate business for Jubani the Fence. Her gang loots and scavenges items all over the scar. She has a Bandari's knack for selling junk for far more than it's worth. What passes for a tavern in the Stitches. The Averno twins run a money-lending and pawn operation out of it. Don't let them sweet-talk you into any favors. They may seem harmless, but everything has a price with those two, and everyone pays. The sewer beneath Merville Keep. We'll be able to gather there without attracting any unwanted attention, and it'll become clear why once you arrive.
In the moons? Ah, my fur! What was in this bucket? Whatever your death wish is, it's granted! Oh, my head. Just tell me what you're doing here before I turn your heart into a tomato.
All
really? Taznas is still kicking around? A little good news to go around with all this bad. Like a fly in wine. Be careful of the wine, by the way. There's flies in it. I didn't say that. Well, what I mean is that I'd like to, but if Taznasi wants me for my magical skill, I have some bad news. My focus is gone. I mean my other focus. My arcane focus. A bauble to focus magica. I'm useless without it. I may have pawned it. To Lulius and Skippy and Averno. I'd give the gold back, but Kazda's really gouging the price of a bottle these days. Even the swill in this flop house. The Avernos are inside. Get my focus back, and I'll owe you. Ugh, well, sometimes my power gets a little out of control. The Mages Guild was supposed to help me master it, but they take a dim view of people breaking curfew and getting drunk on kitchen duty and throwing up in the soup. When I need to cast a spell, I channel my magicka through the focus. It helps me weave everything together. Without it, my spells come out like tangled yarn, and the results are, well, unpredictable. Lulius and Skifion, they sit in the goitered cups like they own the place. Well, they do technically own it, but that's not the point. Ever since Kazda took over, the twins have doubled everyone's rent and the amount of water in the drinks. Because Kazda gets a nice kickback from all the money they bring in. And for good or ill, well, actually just ill. Kazda's in charge here, so he has the muscle. So the rest of us sit quietly and pay twice as much to get half as drunk. Ugh, well, sometimes my power...
Hey, have one with me.
This one assumes no liability for lost goods, though he can issue a lockbox at a very fair price.
No face in the stitches, then? I love new faces. I can front you a little money in exchange for... well, we can talk terms over wine. To what do my brother and I owe the pleasure? Focus. Looked like a collar to me. Pity it doesn't fit any of our pets. Don't call it such around Serene. Nearly clawed poor Skipion's nose off over it. It's such a good nose, too. Reminds me of Mother. Anyway, price is set. Will you pay it?
I am positively fuming. Julius has our entire wardrobe shipped here from Kvatch, and he still manages to pick out the exact same outfit I'm wearing. As if it weren't clear enough we're twins. But you're not here to listen to a sibling's prattle. That rancid-smelling thing? I can't believe my brother paid mostly honest gold for it. Probably cursed. He should just be rid of it and be done with the whole torrid affair. Speaking of torrid affairs, well, perhaps later. Well, you do seem to look like someone well-equipped to deal with this sort of thing. Julius owes me a favor, so I'll call it in for you. The trinket is yours. You can find it in a jewelry box behind the counter.
Going to bring the little mage back her bauble, then? May as well chuck it in the canyon. At least that way it won't be covered in regurgitated fur. The Goiter's Gulp? The only thing vaguely resembling a tavern from here to Riverhold. My dear brother and I are the new management. You would think the 6th generation owners would be smarter than to use this place as collateral, but here we are. I know, but this dump is the only thing he could cough up for the loan. Still, dear brother and I managed to keep the business alive. It's a labor of love, I assure you. The love of money, I mean.
Oh, don't feel the need to rush out so soon. I rarely have the chance to make new acquaintances. Especially with Julius breathing down my neck day and night. Not that I always mind it. Stave off boredom, for a start. Begging a few vagrants to fight for a limp purse is the closest thing one gets to the Colosseum around here. Though it is fun watching Brother Dearest try to squeeze more gold from this toad of a town. You mean you don't know? Oh, my brother and I will need to keep our eyes on you, amongst other things. We're entrepreneurs. We lend money, rent land, arrange deals, for increasingly immodest percentages.
Blah, can't get the taste out of my mouth. It's awful. Good, Kazda's made the stitches unpalatable. Like that swill he's got the tavern pouring. I'm ready to get out, but I wouldn't mind batting Kazda's tail along the way. I'm sure Taznasi feels the same. I need a moment or two. Look, I'll meet you at the bowl. Once the world stops spinning. Look, you seem halfway decent, so don't stick your muzzle too far in, alright? Taznazi's got her own business, and I know too much about it already. I don't drink just because I like the flavor of the tavern's bilge. I'm hazy on the details. To be honest, I'm hazy on a lot of things these days. But I know Taznazi can't show her face in the stitches. And it's not just Kazda that'd like to see her dead. You've seen the type of people who call the stitches home. Thieves, smugglers, deserters. Nobody keen on laws. Of the few rules we have, she broke the one you don't break. Murder. I've said more than I should have already. It's in the past. Taznasi had her reasons. She always has her reasons. Not that I ever got to hear them. She's not going to stab you in the back if that's what's worrying you. Keep your mind on the job. Just a mage looking for something at the bottom of a bottle. I don't really know. And if I'm being honest, I don't know if I ever knew. Look, you seem halfway decent, so don't stick your muzzle too far in, alright? Taznazi's got her own business, and I know too much about it already.
Careful where you flaunt your wealth, Walker. You are a tempting prize indeed. You caught a striking figure, Walker. There are many dangers to such an enviable personage in the Stitches. All of Elsweyr, in fact, if you cast the shadow long enough. Hear this one, and he will tell you how to grease the right palms to pass unmolested. Just so, sleek one, just so. You walk tall, with the heavy footfalls that signify an abundance of pride and gold. Unless you wish to keep low and beneath notice, like humble Zaham, there is a price to be paid, willingly or not. Of course, Five Claw, of course! All the more reason to fear crossing the purring liar on the road. The thief god delights in stealing pride even more than riches. Better to make a friend of Rajin first by acquiring him an offering or three. Start your pilgrimage here with the ledger from the Goiter's Gulp. An idol from Riemann would make a nice addition to this temple. Ah, and fine silks from the merchants at the Valenwood Gate. Yes. If you have not heard of Rajin, it is because he has stolen his name from your ears. Listen then, and pray he does not rob you further. The purring liar is the cleverest of Khajiit, and we are a clever lot. His stories are more plentiful than sand. Rajin is swift, sleek, and silver-tongued. What is there not to admire? But this one will lend you a secret. Rajin is the most beloved of gods because he was not always so blessed. Rajin was once a Khajiit like this one, though much larger and worthy of note, but so skilled a thief was he, that not even divinity was out of his reach. Khajiit who hear tales of the one who purloined godhood aspire to follow in his footsteps. Are idols and vestments not fitting offerings for a temple to Rajin? But you wonder why these particular items, and not just anything, will do. It is because these things belong to those Rajin approves of robbing. Rajin's sleek shadow! You steal away moments of my life with a skill to rival the thief himself! Have you met a merchant, a priest, or a fence whose wealth could not stand to be humbled? Neither has the god of footpaths. Besides this one, of course. Do you think you are above such work? Oh, Walker, do not invite Rajin's ire by looking down upon his deeds. If you do, he will surely play you for a fool and add your folly to his 1,000 tales. Craftiness is a noble art. Follow his example. If it were permitted, it wouldn't be theft. But just because it's illegal doesn't make it unworthy of veneration. Do you not cheer the gladiator because the law says not to strike another? Alas, no arena celebrates the clever thief.
Said Nalitha the avuncular, even in somber times must the wayfarer be offered greetings. Nazdar greets you, wayfarer, though his times are somber indeed. What brings you to this one? Hotaza the corpulent often said, the forgetting of friends is a grievous wrong. Wise words. Tasnasi has not visited him in some time, but this one has not forgotten her. So believe Nazdar when he regretfully declines her invitation. This one has lost a prized possession, a lute gifted by a dear, departed friend. It has buoyed Nazdar's soul for so long, he sinks without it. Weighed down as such, he cannot be the fleet walker Tasnasi needs him to be. Truly? This one was practicing his lute in the canyon below, but his playing attracted irascible beasts. He was forced to leave it behind as he scrambled up the cliffs. The truth, however, noxious is sweeter than rose blossom, to quote the venerable Bait. Nazdar plays, but not well. The others throw things at him when he practices, so he plays where he can be alone. A saint. He once led the Stitches, not to glory perhaps, but away from shame. Even saints do not live forever, nor did he. But as Ballant the Canonical said, the dead recalled in good memories are the true saints of our lives. The truth, however...
big upswing of bodyguard work since Cosmo took over. Works for me. His pissant thugs give me a wide berth. Easy money.
Pandari, our kingdom on our backs.
As Zubacha the Hermit said to Intasi after returning from his grand pilgrimage, "Hello. This one is cheered to see you without the blemishes of harm." As often said by Polu the Overstating, this is worthy of celebration. You have done this one a great turn. In the dark days the Stitches find themselves in, it is good to hold a memory of brighter times. Your kindness reminds Nazdar of the love dashing Dasalzo had for the Stitches in life. This one recalls many joys in the company of Tasnazi and the others. He would like to feel them again. Nazdar will go where Tasnazi bids. A life of decades cannot be reckoned in minutes, so the blind poet has taught us. But Nazdar will do his best. The Stitches was once like it is today, a refuse pit of the spirit, home of vice, self-interest, and the vain depravities of life. Dasalzo came to the gangs of the Stitches and showed them a common foe, Euraxia's armies. We harried them, stole from them, bled them dry, and we formed bonds. To quote Aidino the Aphoric, the greatest gift the indolent can receive is purpose. His death did not rip those bonds apart, but without Dasalzo's care in keeping them tight-knit, they are unraveling nonetheless, and Kazda is pulling at the threads. But some, like Nazdar, keep Dasalzo's memory and his hope. Nazdar knows you see more ribs than muscles on him. This is true, but he once was a brother of the Whispering Claw, so dedicated to that life he was, that he took a vow of silence. You have read the works of Vekla the Ephemeral. Nazdar is glad to know a fellow student. Yes, Nazdar was silent for 19 years, but one night in moonlight he heard through his cell a song, a simple tune but captivating. Some peasant tune hummed by a swineherd going home, but a Jarasti moonsinger said, "Beauty is not in the art, but in what it instills." In that moment, Nazdar knew he must sing, so he broke his vow and left the adeptorium to make music. You can make art for others, said Erka of the Bard College, or for yourself. Nazdar knows he is not good enough to make art for others, but dashing Dasalzo always encouraged Nazdar to make art for himself. Nazdar will never forget that.
these ropes off of me. Joe Bonnie and I had a deal. I delivered.
True. But why keep paying when we can just make you do it for free? Now get inside.
Hope you brought your purse. You don't want to know how Giovanni deals with browsers.
What?
Hey, you're not one of Joe Bonnie's thugs. Can you get me out of here? I'm getting out of here. Catch up to me so I can thank you properly. Thanks for your help back there. Joe Bonnie and her thugs are a bunch of hammers that think everything is a nail. Geniuses included. Altruism isn't a thing in the Stitches. So what do you want? Need a lock picked? Something repaired? Tarsney, huh? That's funny. I was just thinking about her recently, seeing what's gone on around this dump. How it's gotten, dumpier than usual. But she's pulling together a job. I swore that Cosda ran her out of town when he took over. Last time I ran my mouth, Joe Bonnie sent her unexpectedly handsome thugs after me. I'm not spilling any more secrets. But it's nice to know Tosney's still around. She really loves this place after all. Even after everything that's happened to her. Well, Joe Bonnie's sure to notice I'm missing. Joining up with a crew seems like a good way to keep my fingers unbroken. So sure, whatever Tosney's playing at, I'm in. The bowel. Well, that's ironic. I'll head there after I get my tools and find another pair of small clothes. Joe Bonnie runs the biggest salvage operation in the Stitches, and she knows she gets paid more if the salvage is in pure junk. When a crew found stuff that wasn't busted up, I fixed it. For pay. 'Cause that happened. He took over the Stitches and didn't care if people broke oaths, contracts, or ribs. Joe Bonnie saw a chance to get more labour for free. Just had to flex a little muscle. Yeah, don't let my rippling physique fool you. I'm, not much in a fight. That Cosda ran her out of town? Or tried to, I guess. It's not any secret. He may be a rancid pile of cat vomit, but at least it's his town now. He does what he wants. Bad blood. Truth told, Tosney would have been charged after dashing to Salzo died, if things hadn't gone down the way they did. It's not my place to say anything more than that. Well, most don't. And to be fair, I wasn't always the brilliant tinkerer I am today. I don't know what caused the change, honestly. I think eating that soul gem had something to do with it. But I didn't just pluck one up and eat it. I was scouting for the Dominion way north. Some ruin called Sardathal. Was running from some guards when I fell into a shaft. And fell. And fell. It was a long fall. Caught a ledge at the last minute. Broke my fall. And my fingers. Real mess. Anyway, I found myself in this strange cavern. Huge. Had dwarven ruins, biggest I've ever seen inside of it. More stone and metal than I could imagine. Not so much food. Not quite. I finally managed to find a charis. Big bug. Tastes awful, don't recommend it, but I ate like my life depended on it. I mean, it did. I half remember a glowing stone going in my mouth. Swallowed it whole before I even realised. More like indigestion, but also this indescribable urge to fiddle with the ruins. Well, I guess I'd call it curiosity. But anyway, I fixed an elevator like it was second nature and got back home. Then I got discharged on account of my weak hand.
So, I recently traveled past Two Moon's temple. I hate to say it, but I think the monks there have gone mad.
What makes you say that?
They said they were chasing butterflies, but I couldn't see any. They were chasing nothing. It was bizarre and, well, unsettling to see them behave so.
You saw nothing? Odd. You mentioned butterflies. This one has a bad feeling about that. A memory teases, and is gone. Ah, well.
Fred, you gotta help me. I'm dying. I gotta have my medicine, but I can't afford it. Have a heart. I just need a little something to get me through a while longer. Any gold you can spare. My medicine's expensive and I've got nothing. Please, it's gonna kill me. Whatever you'll give is fine. Just make the hurting stop. Thank you, friend. Thank you. This will get me through a day. Not enough time to get back on my feet. You sure you can't spare a bit more? You're a lifesaver. Best friend I've ever had. Besides dashing to Salzo, I don't see him anymore. I don't think. I can't. I can't stop shaking. I just need a little. Just a speck. I can't even afford that now. Custer's killing me. Any gold you can spare. My medicine's expensive and I've got nothing.
That's everyone. Taznazi must speak with you. Taznazi has not seen her old crew in some time. Not since... Never mind. You were not followed, yes? Taznazi is not welcome in the Stitches. Associates of Taznazi, also not welcome. Kazda was lieutenant to Dashing the Salzo. Taznazi as well, until he was found with her knife in his back. No one cared if she was innocent. They wanted someone to blame, and Kazda gave them an answer. After everything, they turned their backs on her. It's not. No, you're right. Taznazi says she hates this place. She should hate this place. But the Stitches is her home, her family. Taznazi won't sit idle while Kazda destroys it. Her reasons aren't important. We should discuss the plan. Today, we hit Kazda right under his nose. We'll break into the basement of the Mirville Keep through this sewer, so long as Vol can pick the locks.
Ah, locks. Cute. Might as well be fancifully knotted ribbons to me.
Good. At the courtyard, we'll have sentries, but Serene's teleportation spell should let us pass unnoticed.
Were you talking to me?
We'll enter the palace through a second-floor storage room. Nazdar will scale the wall and drop a rope for us.
As spake Urwa the Observant. I see.
Taznazi and the newcomer will handle any trouble that comes our way. Let's get started. You have any questions for Taznazi? Otherwise, we go. Taznazi counts on you to be a guard, a lookout, and whatever else is needed as we work. She has done enough jobs to know that things will come up that can't be anticipated, so it is good to have an extra pair of paws just in case. Nice to see you back at work, Vol.
Good to be working. You're less of a taskmaster than Jew Bunny. Now, let's find some more locks.
Good luck, and work quickly.
These old barrels smell like wine. Maybe brandy? Might have started as fresh fruit as long as they've been left here. Gone now, whatever it was. Shame. I could use a stiff drink right now.
The mind can overcome any discomfort, sings the lamentation of this. Clearly, they didn't consider how an old Khajiit feels in the cold. Nazdar feels the damp in his bones. How could you stand it?
Taznazi begs you to keep your voice down. She knows Kazda keeps no guards down here, but there might still be someone or something listening. We need to get to the courtyard. There's a way up at the other end of these dungeons, but Taznazi heard Kazda bought some special locks for the gates to keep any intruders out. Made from salvaged dwarven parts Jubani had cobbled into locks, sold them to Kazda for quite a hefty sum. But Vol can get through them, and you'll be with him in case he needs support. It's safer for one or two to scout ahead while the rest wait in reserve. Attracts less attention, and should something go wrong, we will be free to support you. The three of us will catch up once you signal that the coast is clear.
There's the lock. Watch my back, won't you? One down. Let's get going. Might need an ebony pick for this one. You know the drill. Bit stiff, that one. Glad I'll keep machine grease in my hair. Has done some redecorating, I see. Not sure I like it. Keep the coast clear, won't you? There. Oh, that's the last of them. My fingers are getting sore. Hey, that's our way to the courtyard.
They're through. No lagging behind.
Keep up, old-timer. I made it and I can barely walk straight.
Gaze in wonder at the affirm, for their aches are the song of long life.
You can do it, Serene. It's just moving yourself and 4 other living people with one of the most complex spells known. It's not like you could, you know, mix up people's arms or legs or anything.
Do not fear a dark passage, for from them it's easiest to see light. Nazdar is happy to see the way to the courtyard is just ahead.
Vol did good. You as well. Tasnasi knew this would be the easiest part of the plan. Things get harder from here. We have the courtyard to deal with on the other side of the door. We've got to cross the courtyard. There are guards to worry about, and we'll have little cover for a group of our size. But Serene solves that problem for us. She can teleport us across. The guards will never even know we're there. Serene, it's your turn.
Everyone stand still. You're making me crazy. Just need to concentrate. Focus the power. Imagine the destination. All right, here we go.
What the...
So far, so good. Now, Vol.
You're sure?
To quote the barkeep, you look sick. This one prefers his feet.
Thought I lost you. Moons, you're not hurt, are you? All your limbs in place? Nazdar's looking pretty good, actually. Now the not good. You and Nazdar didn't quite make it to where I intended, and it will be a while before I can cast something like that again. You'll have to make your own way here. There is a basic rule of spellcraft. Do not attempt while drunk, or while recently drunk. Never been great with rules. I ended up losing control of the spell while attempting to teleport you and Nazdar. Sorry about that. Tasnasi wants you and Nazdar to make your way to the base of the South Tower. That's where we're waiting. She also was very insistent. Avoid killing any of the guards. Northwest? East-ish? You have to come through the courtyard, which means avoiding patrols. Don't get caught. Tasnasi is going to be pretty upset if you kill anyone. She says it will raise alarms, but I know the truth. It's because Tasnasi used to run with them. They were all part of Dashing Dasalso's crew back in the day. She tries to act like she doesn't care about them after they exiled her, but it's a lie. Northwest?
Nazdar advises patience. We can avoid the sentries if we are calm. Heed the tenets of the Whispering Claw, and no one will pay you any more mind than they would a lark's shadow. The words of Nazdar's master, the venerable Beludar. At his age, Nazdar's aches are like raindrops. Whether they come as a drizzle or a flood, they are too numerous to count. If something is missing, he has not noticed. Walk softly, Master Hendo taught me. If we get into trouble, be warned. I cannot help. My fists are weapons no longer. Soft as a whisper, quick as a shout. The first finger of the Whispering Claw teaches. As the second finger of the Whispering Claw says, shadows consume curiosity, time, and interest. Heed the third finger of the Whispering Claw. Distance is greater than any weapon.
You made it, both of you. Tasnazi is glad.
Sorry about that. When this is all done, I'll buy you a drink.
Moon's mercy, Serene. When we're done here, I will smash every bottle of wine in Elsweyr.
Not if I drink them first.
Nazdar, you're our way into this tower. Ready?
The ascent of the body is nothing compared to that of the soul. Saint Yosito spoke wisely.
Tasnazi admits she was not certain the Old One still had it in him. You should have seen Nazdar before age caught his tail. We should get inside before anyone notices our presence.
Your knees shouldn't make that noise, right?
They should make no noise, Vol.
Nazdar did well to get us inside, but it looks like this strain was more than he could handle. He needs rest, which means Tasnazi needs to change her plans. Vol is the closest thing we have to a healer. He might be able to get Nazdar moving again, but he needs time, which means he won't be able to pick the locks on Kazda's vaults. Tasnazi wants you and Serene to get the vault keys. This one has other business in the palace. When she's done with it, she will meet you at the entrance to the vault, on the lower floors. Tasnazi has always said she was innocent of the Salzo's death, and she knows in her heart that Kazda was behind it. She must have proof, not to show the stitches, but to quiet her own soul. She needs that more than her share of the gold. Take care getting the keys. The thugs in this palace are Kazda's most loyal, and just as vicious and cruel as he. Expect no mercy and give none. Serene will help keep things quiet in case fighting breaks out. Yes, Tasnazi has gotten used to being on her own ever since the Salzo died. She knows this place like the back of her paw. She'll be fine. Nazdar has to stay behind. He's in no condition to creep through the palace right now. Hopefully Vol can get him back on his feet in time for an expedient departure. As long as they stay back in this old storeroom, they should be fine. That was different. Many of the keep's guards were close to the Salzo. They follow Kazda only because they must. The lapdogs in this palace are loyal to Kazda alone. The ones who are closest to Kazda do not show loyalty because they are virtuous, but because he allows them to indulge their worst impulses. I am not telling you to punish them, only that they won't be missed by anyone in the stitches.
I'm paired up with Yuzen, the ancient adept or the smarmy wood elf. You look like you can handle a scuffle. I'm only good at knocking myself out with a bottle, but I know a spell or two to muffle the noise of the brawl. They'll be with his lieutenants, I'll bet. They come to the Goiter's Gulp every few nights, get drunk and blather on about how much the boss trusts them and lets them get away with murder. Literally. They're bound to be in the palace. Somewhere. You know how many bar brawls I have to try to sleep through in the stitches? Trust me, I know I can cast that one drunk. Now, if there were only a spell to protect from rude awakenings involving buckets.
I'm no healer, but even I can tell Nuzdar's really ground his gears this time. Maybe lost a few bearings while he was at it. The body's not so different from a machine when you think about it. I can patch him up, I'm sure of it. Yes? I mean, yes. Just need to lubricate the joints, I figure. This won't be a problem. Besides, it's not like I don't understand Khajiit anatomy. The Green Pact fought some deserters in Reaper's March a few years back. Anyway, now's not the time to talk about food. I have work to do. We'll be fine. If Taznasi says the guards don't come back here, I'll trust her. She knew this place like it was the house she grew up in. Which, I suppose it was. Back when Dashing DeSalzo still ran things.
No rest, wrote the ascetic Vulado, is sweeter than one following great exertion. Nazdar thinks perhaps he did not stretch properly before his climb. He is no longer the spry 80-year-old he once was. Nazdar's knees tried to tell him he was no longer able to prance like a kitten, but he did not heed them. They are angry with him now. They are only sprains, aches. Can and should, wrote Rid Tharidata, and knowing the difference between them is the cornerstone of wisdom. With Vol's ministrations, Nazdar will be back to his former self in an hour, perhaps more. Do not worry for him.
There you are. He's got her. He's got her.
Keep it down. What are you talking about?
Kazda, he and his bodyguard. Biggest I've ever seen. They cornered Tasnasi and took her back there. You have to save her.
If Tasnasi's been taken, it won't be long before Kazda kills her. You're the only ones that can do something about it. Vol and I are no good in a fight, and Nazdar looks like he'd get blown over by a gentle breeze. You're the best bet we have of getting in, getting Tasnasi, and getting out. Don't worry about us. We'll find our own way out of the keep.
You're always naive, Tasnasi. You and Sal both so focused on the future that you never could see a knife behind you.
Claw your eyes.
You have one friend left in this world, it seems. Not for much longer. Cut! You'll regret crossing Kazda!
He's getting away! Untie me! After him!
Please, Tasnasi, spare me!
Shut up, Kazda! One more word from your lying tongue and Tasnasi will claw it out. He did it. Everything Tasnasi suspected him of. He killed the Salzo. He had her take the blame. He was proud of it. Now that I have my claws at his throat, he discovers the meaning of mercy. He took this one's home from her, the only one she has known, and he couldn't give it back if he wanted to. She has no proof but his word. Even if he confessed and cleared her name, the stitches she would return to is not the one she left behind. One joy is left to Tasnasi, to kill Kazda. Then she leaves this all behind her, for good. The Salzo is dead. Everyone Tasnasi has ever known turned their back on her. The stitches are in shambles. Why would this one ever want to return to such a place? You are right. Tasnasi has tried to forget, tried to move on. Not a night goes by that she doesn't dream of times past. She knows what must be done. Tasnasi will make this one face the justice of the stitches. Wait for her at the tavern in town. Tasnasi will only make this offer once. Confess to the stitches for all you have done, and she will not try out your torture devices for herself.
Tasnasi, you win!
Get up. All the stitches will hear the truth from your lips before the day is done. My friend. No, more than that. Family. Kazda's deeds have been made known to the Stitches. Taznazi's name is cleared. For now, at least, there is something to drink to. Or, in Serene's case, something else to drink to. Now Taznazi is home, and you enjoy her hospitality. Raise a mug, kick up your feet, and count your coin. There is much to be done to fix the damage Kazda did, but that is for Taznazi to worry about. Your work is done, even if hers is just beginning. Strange as it seems, Taznazi is not only forgiven in the Stitches, she is looked up to. It will take time for the Stitches to be as it was. Maybe it will never get there, but even if she cannot live up to Dashing the Salzo's legacy, Taznazi will try. So much as anyone can be in charge of the Stitches. With Kazda in exile, there's hope of going back to how it was, how Dashing the Salzo saw it. They have not entirely forgotten him, or Taznazi. She'll do her part. We all will. The job is done. Their lives are their own. But Taznazi wants to make life better in the Stitches, and she will need help to do so. She could use them, Vol's tinkering, Serene's magic, Nazdar's wisdom, if they will offer it.
Well, we didn't get into the vault. Normally I'd call the job a wash, but it seems like Taznazi owns the vault now, so I guess you could say the job was a success. Funny how things work out.
Do not mistake a righted wrong for an undone wrong, I believe is the mantra of Gautfang Master Junri. Nazdar is glad to know Taznazi's name is restored, but perhaps gladder to know she faced this tragedy and overcame it.
How many of those Avernal brothers are there? It's like a couple more every time I look over. I swear they are multiplying.
This one has several hangover cures, starting to get the taste of the gulp swill out of your mouth, no matter which direction it's flowing.
Speak very slowly.
Jarl, spare a kindness for a priest of 2 moons? Hadaras is at the end of his rope, dangling by the scruff. This one returns from warning the speaker of the Main of a dire prophecy, only to find his fellow priests speaking little sense and doing even less, raving and rambling about our Moon Bishop's visions and growing more demented by the moment. She tells the priests to burn their moon sugar, so they do. She tells them to smear cheese upon the walls, so they do. She tells them to douse the temple fires with their tongues, so they do. I fear someone will die if this continues. Bright moons shine upon you, Walker. This one pursued his friend, Zarga, before you arrived. The fool chases a beast's young with a butterfly net, and woe unto him when their mother follows the commotion. Please, find Zarga before he is eaten. I last saw him run after the beasts into the wilderness to the west. I hoped he would not follow them into their den, but I would be a fool to believe that now. Since she was very young, her eyes have always been as bright as Joan and Jode. She has never led us astray. It's why she's Moon Bishop. But all this madness, something is not right. She foresaw the return of the dragons with a frightening clarity. I went to warn Lord Garesh Ri on this dire prophecy, so it might reach the Main's ears. But I arrived too late. The dragons had already come. 2 moons at Tenmar is Hadaras's temple, a venerable house of Joan and Jode, a place of worship and wisdom, reduced to a den of fools chasing our Moon Bishop's fevered dreams. They don't question our visions. No matter how absurd the task, they leap at it with zeal. When I asked why they would do such things, they look at me as if I am the one who is crazy. A powerful and insidious spell to turn the whole temple on its head. But at least a spell may be broken. It's a small comfort to hope that their minds may not be truly lost.
One has you now, pretty butterfly. I am going to need a bigger net. Oh no! You smashed it! Such pretty colors leaking out.
Ho-ho! You smashed that as flat as a flapjack. But who said you could play with my toys? Well, hello, my new playmate. Glad to find someone with their wits still about them. Too many crazies around here. I mean, what self-respecting person goes around chasing butterflies with a net? Everybody knows you use a hammer. I'm a cat. I thought that bit was obvious. Unless I'm not a cat. Meow? Meow. Nope, cat. Maybe you're not as sharp as I thought. Attack that's seen one too many backsides, huh? Bad for you, worse for them! The priest, silly! You really are clueless, aren't you, plaything? How are you gonna win the game if you can't even find the pieces? Am I gonna have to dangle every answer in front of you like cheese-stuffed mice hanging by their entrails? Ah, that's more like it. Maybe there's hope for you after all. Now hurry your heroic hiney to my playground, or it's gonna be the blind leading the blind out there. Ha ha! Toodles!
stop this madness. Why can't you see reason?
Seeing is the problem, Adoras. That's why we need it.
Maybe we don't need it. This one's claws are sharp. Pop, pop, and we're all saved.
No, it must be the fork. It won't work otherwise. Ah, Jarl, you are safe. I hope the same may be said about Sarka. Moons, I pray he does not get any other ideas. Hadoras has his hands full as it is. He found these ones searching for a fork to put out their eyes. The Moon Bishop told them that if they blind themselves, they would remain hidden from the dragon's sight. Not just any fork. A two-tined iron fork smelling ever so slightly of roast beef. Please, help me keep them from finding this smelly thing. This one smells meat wafting on the wind. It is not an odor he would call beefy, but he thinks it may be the trail they were following. Hadoras will keep his eyes on these ones, so they may keep their eyes. Because they are insane. Only a sugar-tooth would believe putting out their own eyes would blind the dragon, and even they would have the sense not to do it unless it got them more skooma. I count my blessings that not just any fork will do. Then take every fork to be found and pitch them off a cliff. This one doesn't care so long as it keeps these fools from doing themselves harm. You did? What did he... Wait, why didn't you stop him? Dark moons. What sort of childish sorcerer drives clergy to chase after wild beasts and put out their eyes? We must stop this sick puppeteer. But this one can't just leave these fools to their own devices. Find the fork, then we'll give chase. Because they are insane. If this one must talk in circles with lunatics much longer, he too will go mad. Did you find any offending forks at the campground? Khajiit gets all goose-pimply in the hackles just touching it. Adoras fears things are even worse than he imagined. This fork reeks of more than beef. It stinks of oblivion. There is no denying it now. Our temple is caught in the claws of the skooma cat. He must be responsible for our moon bishop's strange visions. But how he spread his madness to the priests, I cannot fathom it. Shegorath, or Sheogorath to some, the crook-tailed son of Anur and Fadomai, born before the moons and stars. He speaks from across the lunar lattice through the distilled moon sugar called skooma. But you said you saw him, in the flesh. An Alfik? The skooma cat should not be able to cross the lunar lattice. If he walks among us, then Joan and Jode must truly be out of alignment. We must check on the temple. Please, you go ahead to the temple. Find our moon bishop. Keep her from spreading any more of this madness. Hadoras will meet you there, once he leads these ones to safety without them straying toward any other foolishness. Saizensa, bright is the moons and just as beautiful. One look and you could tell that John and Jode shone their light upon her, and the path forward would be lit by their reflection in her eyes. When she spoke, one would be wise to listen. Not so now. If there is anyone within 2 moons at Tenmar who could see truth through this madness, it would be her. But her eyes are clouded by the Skooma Cat's visions. I fear there will be no reaching her while he toys with us. Before there were the moons, or the world, there were Anur and Fadomai. From their union, all the god cats came, including the one Khajiit known as Shegorath, the crook-tailed cat who shares his madness with Sugartooths through Skooma. Hadoras does not smell the sick sweetness of the drug upon them. Terrible as it is, the fleeting Skooma dreams would be preferable to this all-consuming madness. On this side of the lattice, it seems Shegorath needs no sugar to share his lunacy. The lunar lattice formed by John and Jode's light separates Nirni from the other god cats and protects her children from the ones who would do us harm. Normally, Shegorath could only send his mad thoughts across through the perverted moon sugar. This one isn't sure. The mere touch of it makes him want to spit fur, but he must keep it out of the hands of others. Perhaps he will bury it under the squatting sands where it belongs. It is the least that this one can do to keep his kin from teetering off the edge of insanity. Hadoras will be all right. No amount of lingering beef stink will lure this one into putting it into his mouth. Or anywhere else, for that matter.
Oh! I see you met Forky. Been talking about me again, hasn't it? Such a gossip, that one. But you can hear the ocean if you stick it in your ears. Give it a try. Doing what? The purring? I don't know. Just happens at the darndest times. Smelling a bowl of cream, laying eyes on a plump ball of yarn, licking me... Oh, wait. I feel a grooming coming on. Who's trying? Oh, sure, you've kept a handful all boring and breathing. But we've been having a right riot in the temple. You ever hear cats always land on their feet? Turns out, it's true. Of course, their feet wind up by their ears, but why split pairs, eh? Stop! Stop! We're just getting to the best part. I think they're really getting the hang of it. Last one got one good bouncing before he spit like a ripe tomato. Oh, I think the Moon Bishop's giving it a go. Don't want to miss that! Fast hurry, or you missed the show!
Yes, Zenza, show us the way. Walker, you arrive at the perfect moment. You will witness our salvation. Moon Bishop Sizenza said we must ascend with Kenarthi to escape the dragons. True cats will reach the sands behind the stars by stepping between the 2 moons. We have not found the path yet, but now our prophet will show us the way. Oh, have faith. Joan and Joan have shone like beacons for the Moon Bishop. She will lead us all to salvation, and you can join us, Walker.
Kenarthi, please lend this one your wings. Sizenza should see where to step. Her vision showed it true, but she cannot see it now. No, this one sees by the light of the 2 moons. These are not fevered sugar dreams. She saw the dragon spring from the mouth of the world and swallow the moon. She saw her temple turn to ash. She must act before it is too late. Saizenza tried to save them. She sees so much that she is blinded. What is the truth? What are the lies? She can't tell what is real. Yes, I need to sit down. Gather my thoughts.
Oh, no you don't. Get your paws off my favorite painting. Ho-ho, look at you, running around like a chicken with its head cut off. Nothing beats a chicken without a noggin. Believe me, I've tried. You came awfully close to spoiling me fun, though. I like my fun. Why? So you can keep hogging all the toys? No, no, no. These are mine. I licked them. How much more marking do I have to do? Alone? Who wants to be alone? Trapped in their own head until all the life and joy of the world leaks out and leaves an ugly grey corpse. They're better off in my company, sure. Suppose I could let them go, if you'd rather be my plaything instead. Then I whisk you home to where the real fun is. Oh, I haven't hosted company since past. You'll love what I've done with the place. It'll be like you never left. Have you there in 2 shakes of a grand mal fit. So, what do you say? Come on, plaything! The game's a face!
I don't know what to do with your warning. Why won't you guide me when I need you now more than ever? I must see. Sacred sugar, uncloud my eyes.
Oh, how the moons twinkle in those glassy eyes. You want to stare off into space and time? I'll show you the future, past and present! There you go, trying to play with my toys again. Well, I've had enough sharing. Wait your turn, plaything. There'll be plenty of time for me to chase you around this little maze after I've finished me snack. All these games work up an appetite. Is that cream? Oh, I could go for some fatty bovine discharge right now. Why'd you go and bring it to me in a cup? Cats don't have thumbs. Well, most cats. Why don't I have thumbs? Hold on to that while I grow thumbs. This may take a bit. Oh, cream. Oh, I haven't had cream since I made Otar cry over it.
No! Come back! Senza could almost see it. We burn our hair and lay scorched before the dragons. But what then? What then? But the dragons came. Sisenza saw it. They will burn her temple, burn us all, if she doesn't see the path. It feels familiar, like this one has done this before. Is this the future vision, or the vision future? She cannot tell anymore. Help this one, please. Show her. Show.
Hey! I just messed that up! Can't leave a good mess unattended for 1 minute before some hero comes to clean it up! Go tidy your own drawers!
Forward. John and Jode have shown me how we may protect our temple.
Bless your eyes, Moon Bishop. What must we do?
We must create an anchor beneath 2 moons to hold our temple between 2 moons.
Apologies, Moon Bishop. This one does not see.
They'll see clear enough once the anchor's built.
The anchor will let you all see as I do. All will become clear soon.
Think you're the cream of the croup, eh? Well, you won't be filling my head with daydreams of sweet cow squeezings this time. I lapped up every last drop. Now what are you gonna do with all that dry toast, eh? Think you're the cream of the croup, eh? Yarn. So soft and bouncy. Just makes me want to bat it around like a newborn babe. No! You're trying to distract me again. Well, I'm not having it! No! Wait, yes! Keep dangling those luxurious ropey threads in my face and you'll find my claws in yours! Off with you! Yarn! Look at it come apart, sure.
Sisenza has seen you at her temple, faithful. She hopes you will help her with this anchor and save it from the dragons. Yes, to buoy our temple through this storm. Joan and Jode have shown it to me, and through it, their light will guide us all to salvation. It will hold open a tiny gap in the lunar lattice, so our temple might slip between the moon's shadows. Nestled between Joan and Jode, we will surely be safe from the dragons. We will tuck it away beneath our temple to hold us firm through these troubled times. Come, I will show you, and we can begin. Ah!
Quit your rattling! I was batting her thoughts into a glorious tangle before you came along. Now I'm gonna have to start again. cat and mouse for one day, plaything. It was me the whole time! Are you surprised? I was surprised. All right, yeah, so I did. But then I thought it'd be more fun to just keep you both. I was half right. You're a little too good as a plaything. It's not fair if you're always winning. That's the best part of playing games with lunatics. They're always changing the rules. You'd get it if you just let me whack you on the noggin a few hundred times. No? Well, game's over. Off with you now. Look at you, making demands. In my games. In my realm. All right. One last impossible challenge for you then. How's that for sporting? Say my name 3 times backwards. Ah! Knew I should have gone with frontwards. They never expect that. Anyone who turned their back to a daydream prince is a wedge short of a wheel. Go on and take that one. You earned it. Newbie. Farewell, cheese of my dreams. Out you go, before Haskell sees the mess you've made. Neither of us wants to hear that.
Escape this nightmare! Quickly! Haduras, what have I done?
It was not you, Saizenza. It was the skooma cat that brought these misfortunes.
Walker, this one remembers you from her dreams. Your face, your voice. 2 moons guiding her through the fog. Saizenza cannot repay you enough for this. Saizenza is to blame. The skooma cat would have never caused this chaos, if not for her weakness. She led her clouder astray, and too many of her disciples had to pay the price. As Moon Bishop, it was Saizenza's duty to protect her temple. But when the time came, she could do nothing without Joan and Jode to show her the way. When the visions did not come, she tried to bring them with the sacred sugar. She is no leader. It is not for her to decide. If Khajiit lost their faith in her, she would not be surprised. This one will beg forgiveness for her failings and accept the will of her clouder. She was too reliant on her gifts, and a leader must be more than a prophet. For the moment, it is all this one can do to try and restore peace and order to her temple. Then will come the true test. She knows the dragons will come to 2 moons, and her clouder must be prepared. Dragons. So many of them, erupting from the mouth of the world. The skies becoming choked with flame, and cinders raining down on our sands as one of the great creatures devours the moons. Much in my visions is symbolic, but this was so vivid. Moon sugar, refined into a potent liquid, skooma. It is a dangerous thing, abused by sugar-tooths who cannot resist its spell. But it is also a gift of the moons. There are ceremonies where the sacred sugar is used. I thought they could help me. Those who drink and smoke the sacred sugar experience things. During our ceremonies, these things are seen as a premonition or message from the twin moons. But it was the skooma cat that came to me instead. I should have been wise enough to see. He has always been the skooma cat, since Fadomai gave him life and purpose. You may call him Sheogorath, and we Shegorath, but the truth is, he is both. He and his litter mates are cats whose coats are what they want us to see. This one only barely recalls things she saw in the haze, but the image of a man with 2 heads climbing the stars to hold the moons in darkness sticks with her. It is fit for the dreams of the skooma cat, but Saisenza fears there is some truth to it.
Rada could not find the fork, but he did not need it after all. He looked into the sun and found the darkness. Now they will not find him.
Sharp Claw, Hadoras is glad to see you kept your wits about you. This one thought he too would lose his mind while keeping the priests from getting into trouble. It was like trying to herd mice. After you scared 8 lives from Hadoras jumping through that portal, he convinced his fellow priests to keep within the temple grounds and do nothing too crazy. With a rousing game of Saisenza says. She was not here to contradict Hadoras's white lies, so his foolish fellows were eager to do his bidding. Khajiit did nothing untoward with this newfound authority. We must tend to those who were harmed by the skooma cat's mischief and offer prayers to the moons for those who were tricked out of their lives. I fear, though, that our troubles have just begun. Saizenza's prophecy about the dragons was no deception of the skooma cat, and her prediction that they will swallow Jon and Jode weighs upon this temple and all our realm. We look to our moon bishop for answers, but none are to be found. Khajiit have always followed her without question, but now knowing that her vision may become as clouded as the dark moons, that faith is shaken. Hadoras thinks we must see for ourselves from now on, and not put the burden entirely on our moon bishop.
Did our moon bishop find the path? Rilasu saw her vanish, but Saisenza did not show her the path. Why did she leave us behind? Rilasu would have followed. This one should have jumped. Why didn't she? She was to be saved.
Zarga caught them all. He ran and ran and ran, but they could not escape him. Now he can sleep. He will not mistake the beatings of their wings for dragons.
Perhaps a direct approach would be the best. You wouldn't happen to be traveling to the town of Hakoshey, would you? I'm investigating a rumor about the town's leader, Magnate Fena Darhak. Word has it that she's a descendant of the Akaviri potentate. A rather curious rumor, given that the potentate's bloodline should have been wiped out over a century ago. It's a personal matter pertaining to my grandfather's legacy. Painful as it is to say, my family's reputation depends on proving this rumor false. You wouldn't happen to be looking for work, would you? I could use a lending hand. Why don't you begin by speaking to the lady in question? The magnate should be in the town square. Strike up a conversation and see what she reveals. In the meantime, I'll begin my own investigation. See what I can dig up. Hakoshey was built after the fall of the Akaviri potentate. It's been, let's see now, a little over 100 years now? Yes, right around that. The town was founded by the Akaviri refugees who fled during that time. The Akaviri come from the land of Akavir, a continent east of Tamriel. They first invaded Tamriel in the First Era, but were ultimately convinced to join the Empire. Hakoshey is populated by their descendants. Yes, the Akaviri took the fall of the potentate as a rather obvious sign that they were no longer welcomed in Cyrodiil. Many of them fled to Elsweyr. Hakoshey is but one of the settlements that was founded. I suppose that's a matter of perspective. After all, generations of imperial marriages have considerably thinned the bloodline. Still, Hakoshey does strive to maintain Akaviri culture and customs, starting with the town's rather distinct name. Potentate Vesidushe began his political career as advisor to Emperor Riemann III. When the Emperor was assassinated, the potentate stepped up as Cyrodiil's leader. Very fortunate for Vesidushe, of course. He was Emperor in all but name. So goes the rumors, though nothing was ever proven. Unsurprisingly, an Akaviri on the Ruby Throne created conflict. The potentate was eventually assassinated himself. A few decades later, his heir was similarly slain. The Morag Tong, of course. Who else would be so competent? Following the death of potentate Severian Chorak and his heirs, a large number of Akaviri and their followers left Cyrodiil. Many wound up here in Elsweyr. As an agent of the Morag Tong, my grandfather had the honor of executing the last remaining heir of the Akaviri potentate. But here's the tricky bit. My grandfather and the heir both disappeared during the attempt. The Morag Tong presumed them dead. If Magnate Fena Darhak truly is the descendant of the potentate, it proves without a shadow of a doubt that my grandfather failed. And such failure would be a grave dishonor to my family name. That's why I'm keen to prove this rumor false. Hakoshey was built after the fall of the Akaviri potentate. It's been, let's see now, a little over 100 years now? Yeah.
I haven't been able to sleep all week. Please, can't you do something?
Of course. I'll have the town guards investigate tonight.
Thank you, Magnate Feynadarak.
And who do we have here? Come, let us speak. Welcome to the town of Hakushe. I must say it is not often I see a new face. Have you perhaps come to take part in our festival? The Proving Festival, yes. Through a series of trials, the people of Hakushe must prove themselves to their ancestors. We do so by completing 3 trials, otherwise known as the 3 proofs. First, the proof of reference calls on our ancestors to witness our deeds. Second, the proof of strength displays our might and bravery. Lastly, the proof of wisdom tests our knowledge and wit. Through these trials, we show our worth. Of course, I'm sure you too have ancestors you wish to honor. First, you must speak with Domitia Nasica. You'll find her just by the river. Listen well to her words, for she will guide you through your first trial. Let me know if you have any other questions. I realize that Hakushe can be quite the curiosity for travelers such as yourself. Nothing to worry about. Domitia just hasn't been sleeping well. She believes there's something prowling around her house at night. I suspect it to be just bad dreams. Of course, I'd never dismiss a citizen who seeks my aid. Having the town guards investigate will help ease Domitia's fears. That alone may be enough to stop her nightmares. And if the dreams continue, I'll make sure she's seen by a healer. Though Hakushe is known for its Akaviri ancestry, the truth is that our imperial bloodline runs far richer. Still, we honor our Akaviri ancestors by maintaining some of their customs. The Proving Festival is a shining example of that. The Proving Festival has not been celebrated since Hakushe was first founded. I didn't even know it existed until I found a first-hand account of the festival in my family's records. It's been quite the challenge getting everyone up to speed. I'm not sure. Perhaps the town just wasn't interested in celebrations when Hakushe was first founded. They were refugees, after all. You can read about it yourself if you're so inclined. I happen to have the book with me. I hold the title of Magnate, though I have no emperor who supports me. Still, my family has led Hakushe since its founding, and chose to take the title to reflect that role. It has been my honor to lead this town for over 10 years now. Because it was our family who founded it. My ancestors wished to create a place of safety and peace, where Akaviri traditions could continue to be passed down and honored. A goal I still strive to respect to this day. Yes, as is my family's tradition. We tend to keep closer to our Akaviri heritage than most. I even speak a little of the language, though I suspect my accent is quite atrocious.
There's only so much you can learn by dueling old man Vertrassi. If I'm ever to become a skilled warrior, I need to get out there. You're a traveler, right? You get it. The only way I'm going to get stronger is by leaving this place behind.
We don't bother the Khajiit, and in turn, they don't bother us. Of course, the cats are happy to accept our gold and work out trades, and their bandits are more than ready to attack Hakoshe, should we let our guard down.
My time is precious.
I've got mine. Where's yours?
Did you know that it was the potentate for Sidushe who sanctioned the Guilds Act? If not for him, we wouldn't have the Mages Guild, the Fighters Guild, and so many others. The Akaviri gave so much to Tamriel, with so little given in return.
It's such an honor to lead the Proof of Wisdom for this year's Proving Festival. Though I must admit, I'm not much of an academic.
If you're looking for help, feel free to speak to my sister. As magnate of this town, she's the best one to answer any questions you may have.
The Proving Festival has certainly made my job easier. With so many of the town's residents worrying about their ancestors, everyone's been on their best behavior.
Hakoshe used to be a lot more closed off to strangers when we were first founded. Though after the fall of the potentate, it makes sense that the town would be on edge. Luckily for travelers like you, we've opened up quite a bit since then.
you're that traveler I saw earlier. Do you need something? Truly, that was certainly nice of her. Your first step is to complete the proof of reverence. This trial allows us to call upon our ancestors to watch over us as we prove ourselves worthy of their name. With this paper lotus, write the names of your honored ancestors on its petals and place the lotus in the river. This will allow it to float into the afterlife. Think of it like a calling card, a way to get your ancestors to pay attention. Return to me when you've completed your task. Oh, and feel free to ask any questions you may have. This is Hakoshe's first proving festival in over a century, after all. I'm sure you're just as curious as everyone else. Before we can prove ourselves to our ancestors, we must first get their attention. The paper lotus acts as a ceremonial letter of sorts. By placing it into the river, we allow it to be carried into the realm of the dead. Yes, it is. The Akaviri believe that all waterways connect the realms of the living and dead. There are many folktales about boats being lost in heavy fog and landing on shores filled with restless spirits. I used to, when I was little. Whenever I would go jump in a puddle, my mother would yell, "Stop that! You'll fall right into the afterlife." Truthfully, though, she just didn't want my dress to get muddy. Excited, of course. Honestly, I'm shocked we gave up the tradition in the first place. No one even remembered the festival existed until the magnate found an old record about it. Our town doesn't have much wealth or power, but we do take pride in our ancestry. Learning about our Akaviri culture and celebrating it is important to us, and the Proving Festival is the perfect way to do just that. Before we can prove ourselves to our ancestors, we must first get their attention. The Through this proof, you have shown reverence. Well done. Next is the proof of strength. You'll need to... I am sorry. I'm just so tired today. There's been a lot of strange noises at night lately, and I haven't slept very well. You overheard that? Ah, well, yes. I've started hearing noises at night. Heavy breathing, uneven footsteps that seem to shuffle about. At first I thought I was dreaming it all, but now I am not too sure. I don't, though the magnate has promised to send a patrol out tonight. Hopefully they'll find whatever it is. But you've got a proof to complete. Head over to Vectrasi for your next task. He's just a little ways west of here, right up the hill. Good luck with the proof of strength, and let me know if you need anything.
What can I do for you, traveler? You wish to prove yourself before your ancestors. Very well. To the north lies a cave wherein beautiful sugar daisies grow. Bring me one, and you will have proved your strength. Ah, didn't I mention? The cave also happens to be a cinch lion lair, and I doubt the beasts will be particularly fond of your intrusion. Best of luck, traveler. Make sure to keep your senses about you. Cinch lions aren't beasts to take lightly. The Akaviri have always placed a great emphasis on martial prowess. The proof of strength shows our ancestors that we remain strong and are prepared to face any danger that may befall us. The greatest. Akaviri warriors are known for both their might and magic. It was only because of their aid that General Riemann was able to pacify all of Tamriel under his rule. Why, it was Akaviri who founded the Dragon Guard. Proud warriors who formed the Dragonborn Reeman's personal guard. Unfortunately, they seem to have disbanded after the Akaviri potentate fell. I still think they're around, though, waiting for their moment to return. You have the look of victory about you. Tell me, were you successful? Most impressive. I'd say you've certainly made your ancestors proud. Good thing, too. Wouldn't want any unhappy spirits mucking about Hakoshe. They'd bring all sorts of misfortune. Quite right. It's part of why honoring our ancestors is so important. Happy ancestors gift their descendants with good fortune. Wrathful ancestors, well, they do just the opposite. They curse us with misery, desolation, even death. Yes, death. Of course, you'd need to perform a great dishonor for such a punishment. Not that you have to worry about that. You've proven both your reverence and strength. Now, it's time to test your wit. Head to the town square and speak to Valoria. Don't dawdle now. The proof of wisdom awaits you back in Hakoshe.
Why, if it isn't our town's mysterious stranger. Magnate Fena Derak told me all about your participation. Have you completed the first 2 proofs? Excellent, excellent. Then you are ready for the proof of wisdom. I am most useful when empty. I am most generous when full. What am I? Of course. What better way to show your wisdom? The riddle describes one of the items on this table. Choose the correct item and bring it to me. Only then will you pass the trial. Best of luck, dear. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I am most useful when empty. I am most generous when full. What am I?
Have a drink with me.
You've returned. Tell me, what item did you bring? Yes, that is indeed the answer. Oh, I'm just so happy you guessed correctly. I was a little worried my riddle was too obscure. I had hoped Magnate Fena Darak would provide a riddle, but she's had her hands full with the festival. Poor thing. She just has a lot riding on her shoulders. We're all seeking to honor our ancestors. But the magnate's ancestors are a bit, harder to live up to. I'm sure it's created a good deal of stress. May your ancestors be pleased by your actions, traveler. Throughout Akaviri history, the proof of wisdom has been performed in a number of ways. Scholars draft grand essays, writers compose ornate poems, philosophers perform lengthy debates. But for Hakushe, we went with riddles. The people of Hakushe are simple folk, and our great scholars are few and far between. A modest trial keeps morale up, while still honoring our ancestors. However, we did get a few essay submissions for the magnate to review. Of course, just like the rest of her family. Every Akaviri text we have is safely contained within the magnate's home, and she makes sure to study them. Even teaches the young ones a bit of the language.
Enjoying the festival, are we? I'm sure you've heard a great deal about Akaviri culture today, but tell me, did you learn anything about the magnate herself? Everything you've learned seems to support the rumor. A descendant of the potentate would certainly be given such privileges. However, my investigation calls for more concrete proof. A document would be best. I've made some inquiries of my own. It seems that Magnate Fena Darak has quite a few records in the cellar of her home. We'll need to break in and search her documents. We need a key, and I'm positive the captain of the guard carries one. If you would do me the kindness of chatting him up for a bit, I'll do my best to obtain the key. Should all go well, we'll be in and out before anyone notices. Very well. Let's get moving then.
Greetings. Say, aren't you the traveler who joined the Proving Festival? Are you now? Well, that's certainly an impressive feat. Honestly, this whole affair has been nerve-wracking for me. I'm not too keen on dishonoring my ancestors. Who knows what misfortune would befall me? To be honest, barely. The first 2 proofs were easy enough. Threw a paper lotus in the river, grabbed a sugar daisy for Vecdrasi. But that last proof, well, it stumped me. Couldn't for the life of me figure out the riddle. I'll admit it, I had a little help. Magnate Fena Darroch gave me a hint. She's a gracious lady, our magnate. Always helping out folks in need. I'm not sure how Hakushe would fare without her.
Glad you could make it. Quickly now, let's head inside. Well, head on in before anyone notices. Well, that's certainly odd. There must be something here to take down that barrier. I'm willing to bet those tablets would fit rather nicely into these sockets on the floor. Well, that certainly wasn't right. Care to try again? Looks like that did it. Let's head in. The magnate left a letter on her desk. Interesting, don't you think? Seems this letter confirms that the magnate is descended from the potentate. What a pity.
Just what are you two doing here? Get out at once!
Traitor!
How dare you claim to be of my blood?
What? What's happening? Please, no!
Vegetal. Well, it seems we've confirmed that Faina Darak is a descendant of the Potentate. Just in time for her to be whisked away by some vengeful spirit. Just my luck. Isn't that part of the Akaviri's beliefs? Disrespect your ancestors and they'll have their revenge. And given the spirit's armor, he was definitely Akaviri. Huh. Makes me wonder what the magnate did to deserve such a fate. I'm not sure, but it's as good a guess as any. Given the turn of events, we'd best go after them. Perhaps the local tombs? If I know ghosts, they don't often wander far from their graves. Some Akaviri is so upset with the magnate that he's returned from the dead. And if I'm to see this investigation through to the end, I need to learn why. Let's head to the tombs. It's just east of the town square. Can't miss it. Glad you could make it. I see them, just up ahead.
Still you hunt me, assassin scum? Was my death not enough?
This disappearing act is getting very old, very fast. He seems to think that I was the Mer who assassinated him. Could be a simple case of mistaken identity. After all, my mother always did tell me I bear a striking resemblance to my grandfather, Methistara. As a member of the Morag Tong, my grandfather executed a great number of people. But, given the location and the armor the spirit wears, let's move ahead. I have a feeling we'll get our answers soon enough. Best if we split up and go our separate ways. Proconsul Balorin Kai, I presume?
Very good, assassin scum. You and your companion have been most insistent. Come, let us speak. Fena Derrock has called my spirit to judge her. By her quill, my name was written. By her hands, the paper lotus placed. And so I have come to punish her wickedness. And yet you try to stop me. Who are you to deny me my revenge? When I escaped Cyrodiil, I had but one man to protect me. Someone I placed my utmost faith in, my utmost trust. Lieutenant Line Bardwick. But when it came time to guard me from my Morag Tong assassin, my protector fled. Yes, though not before I was able to inflict a mortal wound myself. Both I and my assassin died that day, but not Line Bardwick. He looted my corpse and claimed my name. It was he who founded Hakoshé, not I. Her family continued to spread the lies of my betrayer. For centuries, they have proclaimed themselves nobility. But all they have inherited is lies. She must renounce her title and tell her people the truth. Only then will I be content. Go then, and convince Fena Derrock to speak the truth. Only that will save her. The Proving Festival is a time for the Akaviri people to commune with their ancestors. Not only does it allow the dead to view the living world, it also invites us to cross over. Fena Derrock called me to judge her. I have come to do so. And so I did not kill her, as I attempted to kill Line Bardwick when first this festival was held. My lieutenant also summoned me by our ancient rites, though he did not realize this. I was compelled to cross over and judge his wicked ways. Line Bardwick was a strong mage in his own right. He cast me away. For centuries I have waited for another Proving Festival, but I suspect that Line Bardwick took precautions against my return. But now, at last, the truth can be revealed.
I can't believe it. The founder of Hakoshé, my ancestor, he lied? You don't understand. To admit such a horrid truth wouldn't just dishonor me. It would dishonor my entire family. All of my ancestors, who have done such great things for Hakoshé, they'll all be disgraced. How can I do that? No. I don't want to keep lying. The citizens of Hakoshé deserve nothing but my complete honesty, even if it comes at the cost of my family's reputation. I'll do it. Ancestors, forgive me, but I'll tell everyone the truth.
I'll be watching, Fena Derrock, waiting for you to speak the truth.
I'll keep my word.
Well, seems like it's time to get going then. I'll meet you in the town square.
I shall see if Fena Derrock honors her words. Only then can I rest.
It seems my investigation has come to an end. The rumor was false, my family name is cleared, and no one even needed to be executed. A happy ending all around, wouldn't you say? The Morag tongue isn't one to leave loose threads, even one that's been dangling for over a century. Luckily for Faina Darak, my grandfather was able to complete his writ. Here, a reward for services rendered. Now, despite our daring rescue, I'm certain the Magnate doesn't want a member of the Morag tongue hanging about. Though it does look like she's about to make her big announcement, doesn't it? Well, perhaps I'll stick around long enough to watch.
My family has long claimed to be descended from the Potentate. But this is not the truth. The man who founded the town, my ancestor, was a traitor. He betrayed Proconsul Baloran Kai and stole his name. My family's legacy is only a lie. I revoke my title as Magnate. And should you decide it, I will leave Hakoshé forever. This dishonor is mine to bear. And I accept it.
No! We still want you to be our Magnate!
You're an honorable woman, Faina Darak.
You deserve to lead this town.
Everyone, thank you. Thank you so much.
Finally, I am a...
Yeah!
Greetings, traveler. I hope you're doing well. Honestly, I'm still wrapping my head around it all. My entire life, I thought that I was a descendant of the Potentate. To realize that was a lie is... well, it's hard. But I'm still Faina Darak. I know who I am, and so too do my people. Yes, for as long as Hakoshé will have me. And even if that changes, I'll still do my best to help this town however I can. This is my home, no matter who my ancestors were or were not. I realize that now.
Now, despite our daring rescue, I'm certain the Magnate doesn't want a member of the Morag tongue hanging about. If I had to. My preference was always to prove this rumor false, of course. Still, a writ is a writ. If my grandfather failed to do his duty, then I would have done it for him. Simple. My grandfather was following a writ which called for the death of Potentate Severian Shorak and all his heirs. Had Faina Darak been a descendant of the proconsul, her execution would also fall under this writ. Naturally. I'll let the Morag tongue know your feelings soon as I'm back in Morrowind. I'm sure they're just dying to hear your opinion. The Morag tongue is an organization of assassins. Agents are assigned writs of execution, perform said executions, and then go along the merry way. That's the long and short of it in any case. I'd ask you not to compare us to those lunatics. Our practices, morbid as they may seem, are perfectly legal and keeping with dark elf traditions. I kill only who I am sanctioned to kill.
Alert the guard! That act is going to cost you.
I didn't want to call the guard, but you forced my hand.
I did not want to call the guard, but you forced my hand.